Oh, we're the Beervengers, Beervengers, Beervengers. We're the Beervengers.
Welcome to the Beercast, everyone. Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Astoria, Queens, I am Captain Porter Brownstout.
And coming to you from an undisclosed location at the geographical center of the state of California, this is the Pale Male Hophead Huck.
And coming to you from an undisclosed location in the county of Kings, why, it is I, the Beer Wonder.
And we are
The
That was
not our best.
No, it's unless it was.
It's
episode
103
episodes, I mean.
Yeah, it's certainly the well, it was what it was, and it is what it is, and shall be what shall be.
This is very existential. 103 has turned us somewhere, guys.
Well, it's that's how we're doing. That's why we're going. Welcome all of you out there, and welcome to you guys to episode 103 of the Beervengers podcast. How you guys been?
Fantastic. Good to see you both. And
it's good to be back together. Excited to
all
have
on the
some
same
beers.
continent again.
I know.
Indeed.
Huck left. He left the hemisphere. Is that correct?
The northern hemisphere, yes.
I know. See, that's a big deal. It's a big deal.
I guess depending on who's listening to this, because we know we have a lot of international listeners, and I know
and
some
the
people
aliens.
And the aliens. They're included in international.
That is true.
I mean, if they want to be, if they want to be of international, if they want to be extra national, but we welcome both of them. So I think they're all included there. So you were right to suggest the aliens that I wasn't necessarily including all of them because who knows what the extra national. Anyway, I guess what I was starting to say was because we know some people of some other cultures, wherever they might be, consider North America and South America to be one continent.
That's fair.
It's just
if it wasn't for the Panama Canal, it would be completely connected.
Yes.
Yeah, we did that to ourselves. That's our own damn fault.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, anything. It's not continental drift. That's for sure.
No.
Yeah, this is
anyway. Well, clearly we're gonna need to hear about what it was like to not be in the northern hemisphere for a little while.
Yes. Other continent or fake continent, you can all decide out there. But before we do any of that,
that's what I was getting to.
Yeah, the pores need to happen, don't they?
We're going to get way more interesting once we've had some pores.
Exactly.
I think that's also the truth of this.
And just so you know, all you out there, I mean, if you're driving, no, but otherwise, sometimes we can be more interesting if you're having pores right along with us. And make
that's true.
You can yell at the thing and we won't hear you, and we're sorry.
Anyway, Captain, when you edit this, do you have a pore? I think that's the real question.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I put it off for a little while, and I have a celebratory pour when I hit that final edit button. It's not the actual name of the button, but that was just the easiest. Finalize. I don't know. Anyway, which one of us should go first, Beer Wonder?
I have the power now.
You always kind of do, but
well,
yes, I'm glad there, Beer Wonder, and
I'm glad you recognize this.
I think that's
the
a
power.
good idea. Yeah,
we'd love to see what you have.
Then I think I will take the first pour. It would only be polite to use my power benevolently and maybe show some other people how you are kind with the power that you have.
Yeah, that many people could use that as an example.
Exactly. Well, here's the thing. In my kindness, in my true kindness, I'm going to be helping out a dear friend of ours, a business that we care deeply for, because this evening I will be drinking a
sponsored pour.
Oh, good. A sponsored pour from the Beer and Cheese Collective at 35-11 Ditmars Boulevard. Excellent. Glad to hear.
Yeah. And in drinking this sponsored pour, we're also, going to be bringing out communities that currently may not always be feeling like they're protected by those who are wielding their power in an unkind way.
Right.
I'm going to be drinking a Dyke beer tonight.
Oh, excellent.
And it is the Mexican lager. It is called Dyke Light.
Excellent.
Just like that. And I just need to mention that there is a really terrific cat and dog who are giving you all the royal fashion that you've ever wanted on the can.
I love Dyke beer. They're wonderful people, and
with an absolute. And they make good beer with a nice little rainbow flag behind them. So this is their Mexican lager. It is clocking in at a nice light one at a 3.8% alcohol. So I'm excited to enjoy this crispy little bad boy here. Or bad girl, I guess I should say, right?
Yeah.
Gender is a construct. All right, here we go.
Oh, very nice.
It is a very light beer. Yeah. Yep. Almost a little gold, maybe even orangey from my angle. Big bubbles on the head. That's going down real rapidly. I'm very excited about this easy drinker. Awesome.
Perfect. All right. Well, why don't we just alternate coasts here, and Huck, why don't we go with you next? Oh, okay.
Oh no, we can't hear you, Huckster.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's.
I muted myself. I muted myself because we're having one of our patented Fresno hailstorms right now.
Oh my goodness! So there's a percussion section now to the to the opening.
A little percussion on the window here. And I enjoyed the can art there on the Dyke beer. And so I'm also going to continue with this cool can art today because I've got a beer today from Fieldwork Brewing.
Oh my goodness!
Which I've had Fieldwork before. Look at this little. Got a little wren on there.
Butter. Oh, and a bird. Oh, I didn't even see the bird. The bird was doing such a good job of camouflaging.
And it's a gold can, I love that.
Beautiful.
This beer is called Adriana, and it is naturally, as for style. Any guesses?
Adriana with birds and herbaceous. Is it a saison?
That's very close. It is.
Okay.
Farmhouse?
In the words of our fellow Beervenger, it is a triple. Always
a triple.
Always.
Very important. Very important.
Belgian style triple, tripel, if you will. And it's got a nice left-handed pour, so I can do the
picture.
At that. Whoops, spilled a little there. I'm going to watch the keyboard.
And it is a golden beer. You get that absolutely gorgeous golden tripel color, no question. Almost no bubbles on the top too, so it's a nice tight head up there. Oof, that's beautiful.
The tight, of course, in a tulip glass, must do. Mm-hmm. There you go. Our tripel from Fieldwork, Adriana.
They are a California brewery, or are we repping
Adrian? Out of Berkeley. Yeah,
nice.
Had them on the show before, but this is the first time for this style.
Well, welcome back, Fieldwork. All right. Well, I also just so happen to have a
sponsored pour.
Sponsored pour from the Beer and Cheese Collective. This one is from North Carolina beer. Sorry, Charlotte, North Carolina, Resident Culture, and the name of this beer is Half as Lonely.
Oh,
and it's a stout.
Now, this is a good can art day, just in general.
Yeah.
I mean, because yours just like, is that a person who is just like folded themselves in half with their head and their knees? Like, what is going on here?
Well, I couldn't get all. Yeah, that does kind of look like, but like looking at themselves in the mirror or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
I couldn't find any real description for what it is on their website, except for the fact that they have another. So this is a stout with an 8.3 ABV.
Okay.
But I also saw one that was something like 13%, and that was called Twice as Lonely. So I don't know which one of them came first. The math doesn't quite work there because, technically that should be one's almost twice as much should just be called Lonely. But anyway, I'm not going to quibble with it, especially because I expect this to be quite a wonderful beer.
Standard loneliness.
So this is a stout conditioned on coconut and cacao nibs.
Oh, that sounds almost tropical right there.
Or as Sheryl Lee Ralph's character on Abbott Elementary calls it, Cocoa Puffs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Mm.
Here we go. And
she is a true icon. And gosh, so is this beer. My goodness, look at that. It's pouring thinner than I guess I would have anticipated with the cacao and cocoa nibs situation. And
nice fluffy head though, right?
I know, aggressive, tight bubbles too. That's going to be nice and creamy.
Chocolatey. Coconutty, apparently.
I guess.
Absolutely. All right. Well, look, we all have pours, so now it's time to be just a little less thirsty. Cheers, Beer Vengers.
Exactly. Cheers.
Cheers, Vengers, indeed. I'm glad to see that head retention's hanging on that light beer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And this is no joke. Yeah. Now, that was an audible reaction from the captain, so I do want to hear about this one because...
It's just the cacao nibs are they're so powerful. That just like rich, dark chocolate there. It's obviously 8.5% isn't nothing, but it's still, it's like the flavor is almost, I would not have surprised me if you told me this was more like an 11%, because I know the flavor, this flavor amount doesn't always match up with the ABV as far as that goes, but this is like a wonderful, rich sipping, chocolate beer. The coconut is a little more subtle in it. I'm going to have a few more sips of it to really see what those nuts are there, but what those notes are. But this is
nuts,
a nice brewery. Yeah, this is it's funny. Every once in a while these days, when I see a brewery I've never been to, I will look up on Google Maps to see how far, if I wanted to just jump in my car and go there. And this one's about 10 hours away from here. So that would definitely be an overnight road trip, but I think it could work for a road trip.
Yeah, and I've heard of Resident Culture before, so they've got a reputation.
Yeah, there was an IPA. I couldn't remember if it was one. I saw one, and maybe I'll look it up later. That I couldn't remember if it was one that we'd had on here before, or one that we'd had maybe from our Unboxed folks. I think I might have seen it for like maybe the 12 Beers of Christmas. But yeah, really, really good stuff here.
Excellent. Well, this triple is living up to its name. Really, it's got that nice Belgian sweetness to it. You can see it also has lovely Belgian lace.
Mm-hmm. That is gorgeous.
Nice lacing.
And also a credit to your glassware skills and cleaning skills.
Much.
Yeah,
also, you can see the chill haze on there.
The
condensation.
Yeah, look at that.
Nice lacing.
And the lacing's nice. And good flavor. Not too strong. You know, sometimes the triple can be like, but it's nice. It's got a nice candy flavor. And what else also nice is they list the ingredients on the can here. Well, they at least say ale brewed with barley, hops, water, yeast. Okay, that's what you need for a beer. But then it also says Belgian candy sugar. Belgian candy sugar. So that's where they get the extra ABV. They pump it up with candy sugar. So it's sugary, but it's doesn't come off as cloyingly sweet.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, because I've definitely had some beers with some stouts with Belgian candy sugar. I thought took it too far that place.
It's really well balanced. It's really nice. And for such a strong beer, which I believe it is 9.5%. So right on for a triple.
Okay.
And I said Adriana, but it's Adrian with an E at the end. So Adrian.
Okay.
Adrian.
Yeah.
Where do you say it in Belgium? In Belgian? Do we speak Belgian? Yeah. And the can art. I'm going for can art today. I have a second beer, which also has great can art. So we're making a can art day. I was thinking we should make that a segment in the show now that we're putting ourselves on the YouTube. It's on YouTube. At the Beervengers.
Yes.
Yeah. Captain, you want to talk a little bit about that now that we've previewed the fact that that's happening?
It's I still think you get everything you can get most out of this just listening to it, looking at the pictures. But if you want that full extra thing of seeing things like seeing expressions on our faces and the actual pouring of the beer and when Huck mutes his mic and wanders off to deal with the dog, it's all in there. I don't edit that stuff out. Yeah, I mean, if you want to see episode 102, I felt I really had to, since I had that whole reveal at the end of the episode where I ripped open my shirt and showed my heart monitor.
That
was
memorable.
And also, any suggestions on we welcome any suggestions on how to make that better, because I'm just learning. I downloaded a program, watched a couple tutorials, and it's what it is. And I welcome suggestions to how to make that better.
Okay.
Awesome. Always growth mindset. Well,
Yeah.
I was going to say the beer that I am drinking is not going to dampen anybody's spirits in any way. It is a delightful light drinker, Pilsner malt. You can really taste it there. It's got that nice crisp cleanness, kind of sweetness from the corn, almost like a honey character. It is a great sipper, and it's going down nice and quick, which is always helpful.
Excellent.
Yeah, good.
With the 3.8% lager, that's what you expect.
That is what you would hope for, yeah. And you know what? Honestly, it's doing its job. It is quite well done. It's just exactly what I want in like a Mexican lager: light, crisp, pilsnery, a little sweet, ready to go.
Yeah. And normally I don't approve of 3.8% beers.
I know you don't,
but sometimes they're warranted. I think sometimes if you get a real nice wild ale that's
sure
that low and the flavors are so interesting, you got to try it. I actually had a 3.8% beer today.
Oh, wow.
Strangely enough, I know it's only 4:00 in the afternoon, but I've already had, I have this job where I do beer and cheese tastings.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so
That's
I did
so
a
cool.
beer and cheese tasting today, and it had a St. Patrick's Day theme. And there was a Guinness in it.
Oh,
and
interesting.
Actual Guinness.
And Guinness, it was one of the beers that we gave the customer. And so I was like, well, this is a perfect opportunity to show how to pour a Guinness. You know, you pour it halfway and then you wait, let it cook, and then you pour the rest of it in. And so we did that, but I didn't have a Guinness. I had a 3.8% stout, which I got from being on another podcast called the Beers Well Traveled podcast.
Beers Less Traveled. No, it's called City Brew Tours Beer Club now.
City Brew Tours Beer Club. Yeah, and I used the City Brew Tours glass as well. But I had this beer from New Jersey that was 3.8%. I said, here's the opportunity to try this beer. And let me tell you, it was super flavorful. Okay. Very chocolatey. Very chocolatey. I was like, do they have chocolate in this? Apparently not, but it was really chocolatey. And for such a low ABV, you wouldn't know it. It was almost like if you drink a non-alcoholic beer and it's like, oh, there was no alcohol in that, you know? Whereas this beer is like, there's 9% alcohol.
Yeah.
I mean, it drinks like a double.
All right.
I just wanted to follow up on what I said before.
I really like this. I'm so sorry. I was just going to say
No. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Please go on.
This is just practically non sequitur at this point. But I did tease earlier that I thought I'd had this one before, some version of Resident Culture before. I'm pretty sure it was from City Brew Tours, from their 12 Beers of Christmas. They had one called an IPA called Lightning Drops. Does that ring a bell to either one of you guys?
It does ring a bit of a bell. I'm getting a bell.
I feel like I've heard it, but yeah.
Yeah, it was like as soon as I saw the can, I'm like, I think I got one of those. Yes, as many of you who listen to us know that we all work for a company called Unboxed Experiences, which is sort of a sister company to City Brew Tours, and they do a thing every year where they have 12 Beers of Christmas, where you open a different beer every day. And what's fun, that was the year that I think I bought one, and then they asked me to be on it, and then sent me a box. So I kind of remember seeing like two boxes or two cans of Lightning Drops, and I was happy to have both of them. Love the boxes.
Yeah, it's always nice to just arrive home to a box of beer.
If we could continue to talk about the job for a minute, I want to ask you. I noticed that you like normally we have our beer tastings and our tradition so far has been to go out and buy beers and then we get reimbursed for them, right? When we do our beer and cheese tours. But you asked for a box. I'm wondering how did that go? Did they send you a box?
It's supposed to come tomorrow.
Ooh.
Yeah, that is this might be too inside baseball for most beer vendors out there, but I think they're trying to get away from reimbursing us for anything, and they want to ask for everything. And I did that because one of our coworkers did that about a month ago. So I guess that's what we're doing now.
Give it a try.
Yeah,
I should have done it. I had a beer today, but I was still using beers from the last box. So
there you go.
Well,
yeah. Oh, that's good to know.
And now that's on the record.
Back to our regularly scheduled podcast already in progress.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've teased the fact that Huck, you left the hemisphere.
Yeah.
So what's up with that?
I had a lovely trip. Went to myself and Cider Girl, as you know, is my wife.
Yes.
She's my wife.
My wife.
I actually hate that, but yeah. I don't hate that she's my wife. She's a good lady. We went to Chile.
Ooh.
And also the country of Argentina. We started in Santiago, Chile, made our way to Patagonia, which is where, which is the bottom of the continent. We went on an island trip to see penguins. We went to another trip to see incredible mountainous ranges in the Andes. We also went on another trip to a real life glacier, a continually growing glacier.
Oh, wow.
Which was fantastic. And actually, we saw what is called calving, where the ice breaks off the glacier and you see it splash into the water. Caught a couple of, it's hard to catch on the camera because you're looking around and you go, oh my God, catch it. And then, it's already done by the time you get the camera up. But yeah, we caught it a couple of times. That was beautiful. Back up to Buenos Aires, the city of Buenos Aires, Argentina, which was a lovely trip to the city. And I didn't spend enough time there, frankly. We only did 2 days there, 2 nights. Then we finished our trip.
You just came in and said, "What's new?
What's
Buenos
new?"
Aires.
Believe me, Cider Girl knows that musical Evita very well, and was continuously singing it throughout the trip.
Good. Someone needs to represent for that.
She brought a little bit of stock quality. And so from there, we went to a place called the Iguazu Falls, which is a beautiful waterfall. Not just one waterfall; it's a series of them. It rings the area, and it's also partially in Brazil. But that was a tropical area, so we weren't. Not only when we went to Patagonia, that was a kind of although it's summer, so it wasn't freezing cold, but it was cold, so 45. During the day, it was pretty cold. And then we went to the tropical area. And we took 4 different flights. 4 different flights within the trip. You know what I mean? Like we took flights to get there.
That reminds me of my trip to Australia.
Yeah, it's just we did a lot of flying and fantastic trip altogether. Great food. We were with a good group, like we were talking about this being on a tour. You meet strangers who are on the trip with you. Generally, good folks.
Good.
A young lady on the tour was very nice, and usually we don't get young people. She was a super nice young lady, very reserved. She didn't. Turns out she was a pilot and also worked in for NASA.
Oh, wow.
This lady's something else. And then when we got back home, a lot of us exchanged Instagram handles. And she's like a major Trump supporter, this girl.
Oh,
I was like, wait, aren't you a scientist?
That's a sad way to end that
I didn't
story.
get into it. I didn't get into it. But,
ouch.
But not only like Trump, but she's at rallies, and with hats and everything, and she's at gun ranges, and I was like, oh my gosh. She was perfectly nice on the trip. But yeah, we met some real nice folks and great food, and we did have good beer. I can get back to some of the beer later. I don't want to
tell us a little bit about some of the beer.
I think it's not a trip to South America without some beers thrown in there. I mean, on this show anyway.
Well, we had the first. Well, recently, Spider Girl. I was going to say Spider Girl. I said it anyway. Spider Girl. I like that actually. Spider.
I like that too.
Spider Girl and I went to. We've gotten into lounge life. I don't know if you're if you're into
airport
this,
lounges.
You fly a lot. Because I got a new credit card and it gets us into lounges. And if you don't know, lounges are like these places you can go in airports where they have a little buffet and a bar and whatnot.
Well, that's cool.
So we thought
specifically it's an airline credit card.
No, it's it's a Bank of America card, but it gets you into these lounges.
I didn't know that was a thing.
There's a thing called Priority Pass, which is that's who we belong to.
I've heard of that.
Priority Pass. So we found the lounge, the DFW lounge in Dallas, right? And we had a time because we flew from Fresno to Dallas to Santiago. That was our trip.
Okay.
And so we went to Dallas because you can't fly anywhere from Fresno, except to Dallas, of course.
Yeah.
So we go to Dallas, and
the one time I flew to Fresno, I also flew from Dallas.
So there you go. So next time, check out this lounge because we went in the lounge and
they won't let me in. I'm not special like you.
Oh well, all you got to get is a certain credit card. All you got to do is run up your debt. So,
oh God, that's dark.
So we go in. And I'm like, oh, this is great. And there's a bar. I'm like, oh, great. Okay. I look at the bottles they have because I don't see any taps. I'm like, oh, I'll have a Sam Adams. That's fine.
Yeah.
And I have my Sam Adams, and I enjoyed it. I go back to the bar, and I'm like, and I see other people I see somebody's got like an IPA looking beer. I said, what is he drinking? And said, oh, that's from the other bar. The other bar?
Oh, my gosh.
And I said, I don't want to abandon you. You're a very nice bartender, but I'm going to this bar. You say they have drafts. And I go over. They had craft beer from a brewery called the Manhattan Project.
Oh, wow.
Which somehow has a connection to out to Dallas. I forget what the connection is, but
wow.
It was called, and I drank a Pilsner, German-style Pilsner called Necessary Evil. They also had 2 hazies on. I'm trying to think of your name. Beer Wonder.
Yes. Me. That would be me.
That's you. I know you like the hazies. I did not try the hazies, but the Necessary Evil was excellent. And Manhattan Project Brewing. Yeah, I mean, really
Clearly,
good.
if you didn't stumble across that right away, your beer dar wasn't working very well, was it?
No, well, I was in lounge life. I'm like, oh, the lounge, and it's all free. Once that's the other thing. You go in the lounge. Once you're past the barrier and you're in the lounge, everything is free. You have to. I mean, you should tip, right?
Right, of course.
But what kind of douchebag doesn't tip at an open bar?
Water, juice. There's a buffet. Had soup. There were, it's not like full. You don't get a steak or anything, but you can make a meal out of whatever is there.
Yeah,
right, of course.
But Manhattan Project. Shout out to these guys because good stuff. Good stuff. And all their beers are named for the cold. Like they have a Cold War, which is cold IPA. Fallout is a Hefeweizen. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to figure out why they called it that. Anyway, that doesn't.
I have a theory. It's because it's not about Manhattan as a city.
No,
it's about the Manhattan Project, the building the bomb.
Right, but
because the Manhattan Project is building a nuclear bomb, right?
I'll look into that later, and I'll come back to that.
But Cold War makes sense for that.
But we went to Santiago, and I went to it. Now, this is where it gets a little bit like, wait a minute, what's happening? I'm going the wrong direction. We went to a place called Ruta 41, which is Route 41. And we did it was near our hotel. So I was like, well, because before we went, I had it planned out. I'm like, there's brewery here, brewery here. I had crawls planned. I was ready to go. A lot of this didn't pan out because a lot of the time, you're on a tour. The time is like, let's go. There's not a lot of free time. And so I just got it in where I could. So Ruta 41, I went there and I had what was it? Was like I guess it was like a brown ale. It wasn't great. Shout out to Ruta 41. They had a craft brewery in town. I was glad it was there. I think what it is that Chile, and I'll add Argentina to this. I didn't have as much in Argentina. It's a burgeoning craft beer scene.
Okay.
Right. And if we talk about South America, we generally are talking about it's a lager centric kind of vibe. Not that there's anything wrong with lagers, but traditional cervezas and that sort of thing. But I think it's burgeoning. So the places we went were maybe not at the level they could be. Ruta 41. I had another beer called Austral, Austral, and that Austral just refers to the Southern Hemisphere. In case you didn't know that, like Australia,
I do now.
Yeah. So Austral Brewing, it actually turns out they were more of I don't want to say macro, but it was like an old brewery. They've been around a long time.
Oh, wow.
But honestly, I had what they called they called it a Bock, Helles Bock. And I don't think it was very Baki, but it was more of a Helles. Very good. I thought they were high quality. So I'm going to give Austral a shout out, and didn't make it to the brewery, even though we went to the town after we left Patagonia, after we left Santiago. Now, mind you, Chile, I don't know if everybody knows the geography of Chile. It's a very long country. It's not very
long
wide.
Again, right?
It's like it's almost like it's like 250 miles wide in most places, and then it's like 1,500, 2,000 miles long, right? So that's why we had to fly to Patagonia. So when we left, we went to where they make Austral, is in a town called Puerto. No, I forget the name of the town. But anyway, we went down. We had a couple of other ones. I've had another lager when we went to another town. Had another Austral. Oh, I know what they had this one called. They had a fruit beer called Calafate. Now, Calafate is another town it's actually a town in Argentina that we went to, El Calafate. But a Calafate itself is a fruit.
Really?
And so the Calafate beer, I said, what kind of fruit do you make this out of? They're like, Calafate. Like, it's a fruit. I don't even know what it looks like, frankly. I guess it's like a berry. But it was a decent fruit beer. And again, that was Austral. Oh, now we have a picture of something here. I don't know what that is. But I'll flash forward to when we went to the town of El Calafate, right? This is where we saw the glacier. Now we're in Argentina. And Argentina, they're known for their wine, Malbec, pizza.
Right,
they're known for pizza, and they're also known for the empanada, which is
I'm sorry for pizza.
Yeah, pizza, and they make a pizza called a. Why am I forgetting all the names? But it's a pizza where there's no sauce, but there's lots of cheese,
and then calafates.
And no calafates on the pizza. They put onions, grilled onions, on the top of it. Oh. It's called the fugaza. And that was good. I did have that in Buenos Aires. But we went to this. I had a brewery picked out in El Calafate because I was near the hotel we were staying in. You know, when you look at Google Maps, you can see where stuff is and how far it is. But you don't know what it looks like. You don't know geography and all that, and what kind of neighborhood it is or whatever. So that was really great to see. But El Calafate was a beautiful town. A lot of these Patagonian towns reminded me of like a ski town.
Oh,
where there's a lot of like backpacking gear stores, but really nice restaurants, and they were nice towns. They were really nice towns and very. I want to say cosmopolitan, really not like nothing was run down. These are nice places.
Yeah.
In Chile. So when we went down there, I thought we were going to see, a lot more rustic stuff, but it was very sophisticated places. Both Chile and Argentina are very sophisticated countries. Not at all third world in any way. I suppose they do have that element of it, but so do we, right?
Well, sure.
More and more.
I also find that sometimes when I think of third world, I almost hesitate to say it because I don't know what the official name is. Like, because I was in Peru, and I was thinking for a while, it felt like a little, are we in a third world country? And I actually looked it up, and apparently there's an in-between thing, and that's called developing nation.
Yes. But that's the preferred term.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Well, but apparently third world is an actual thing. There are places that actually are categorized that way, but developing nation is sort of that's the transitory title.
The transitory property is what you move through.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, hopefully you move through to something else rather than retreating back to a third world.
Yes. Well, one can hope.
Yeah. I mean, we might be on our way to third world here. Who knows?
Well, we have to go through developing first.
Well,
that's what we're developing into right now. But
I'll finish with a story about this particular brewery we went to because it was near our hotel, and I'm trying to punch up the name of it here. It was called Koshkil, which sounds very
Koshkil?
like Russian. Koshkil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Koshkil Calafate Cerveza Artesanal, right? Artesian
Ooh.
beer. And they were just opening. One guy's there. He's the brewer. And we go in and we sit down. I said, "You're open?" "Oh, yeah, you sit down." I use my best Spanish that I can. And we sit down and I said, "Yeah, I'll have this beer." He's like, "No, come." And he's motioning us to the bar. Oh, okay. We go to the bar. He's just like, because his English, he knew we spoke English, but his English wasn't that strong. So he's just like, "I'm going to give you samples." And I think I texted you guys while I was doing this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You did.
Just every beer he put down in front of me. Like, okay, I'll try that one. And I was a little concerned because each beer was a little warm.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
But once he poured me a full beer, which I did get, I got a one of the. It was a stout. It was I think it was a milk stout, but it was very nice. It was very nice, and that was the best tasting one that I tried. And but with all the samples, I was like, oh no. But when he poured the full beer, it was cold, and I think it was because he just went, and we were getting whatever was in the line,
Oh, sure.
rather than what was coming out of the refrigerator. So Koshkil, shout out. I mean, honestly, I would have bought some gear. They didn't have any. They're, again, a burgeoning craft beer scene. And there was a lot, honestly, there was a lot of craft beer. I saw it everywhere. Like a lot of the restaurants just brew their own beer. And I think it's just because they don't have the kind of laws that we have,
Sure.
where you have to have, you have to have this much of food or whatever the heck the laws are here. Every restaurant can brew beer. So there was a lot of it. So I think if you go back there in 20 years, it'll probably be even better scene. But there you go. Yeah, that's my beer journey in South America. Thanks for indulging me.
Well, I don't often initially think of South America as being a major beer location, right? We think about German beers. We think about, Mexican beers. I'm drinking one, right? So we're going all south of the border here.
Sure.
But it's fun to hear what kind of interesting brewing is happening a hemisphere away.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny when you talk about places that have a burgeoning scene. I felt that way when I was in Paris a few months ago because I think part of it is because, all those European countries are so close together. Like in Paris, since they don't really, their craft beer world is not that new. And also all the European countries, they have access to all the European beers that are a little ahead of them. So most of the beers you're going to see there are like the Belgian and German. And but I did go to a burgeoning craft beer bar there. I had to look on the Google to find it, but I had a wonderful time there. But yeah, it was similar to what you're saying. It was good, but it wasn't quite there yet. That changed in a big way when we went over to Alsace. Alsace is very much a beer region and lots of great local beer there. Also, with what you were saying, some of them were newer, but also some of them were like places that have been there for, decades and decades because they have a really established beer scene in that region of France.
Right.
Yeah, and it's similar to Belgium. A lot of farmhouse beers, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And Alsace also had their own specific kind of version of pizza that's there called tarte flambée. Now they did have tomato sauce on theirs, but it was mostly like a classic tarte flambée is primarily onions and what they call lardons, like little bits of bacon.
Yep.
First time I went to Colmar,
delicious.
First time I went to Colmar, I had the English translation menu, and lardons were just translated as lard.
yeah.
Well, kind of.
Well, but when we hear lard, we think Crisco.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
So if they translated it to bacon, that would have actually been a better translation for people who speak English.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
Even if it's not exactly bacon, lardons are bits of pork. So
yes, closing in on. So
yeah.
Well, that's so you were exploring a new beer scene, and Captain, you also were checking out some new beer stuff that was happening in New York City recently.
Yeah, well, as many of you know, because I think we mentioned on the last show, we just a couple weeks ago went through New York City Beer Week, and I had I actually went to every single New York City Beer Week event that they had at the
Wow.
Beer and Cheese Collective.
Okay.
So
Completist.
that's basically two of them. Yeah.
Completist.
But yeah, they the first one was like a number of different breweries, and I'm not going to say which ones they were because I can remember. One of them was Killsborough. I think Alewife was there, and
Okay.
and I apologize to two others. I'll look it up. Maybe I'll put it on the thing. But then like on the Wednesday, that was there like on Friday night leading off Beer Week. They had that there, and then the following Wednesday they had one from the Kings County Beer Project. Also more commonly known as KCBC.
We've heard of them.
I love you just say it out loud. It's like, what is that? Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah. Actually, I think I just said it wrong. I said Kings County Beer Project, but that's wrong. Kings County
No, it's
Beer...
Kings County Brewers Collective.
There we go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I apologize to my friends at KCBC because we've said that more than we said what we thought it stood for, so I think you're good.
Kasabasa.
Yeah.
I can remember when you first mentioned them, a pre-podcast, I think.
Yeah.
And you were like, Kings County Brewing Collective, they got some really interesting beers. They're just coming out, and like, you got to try these guys. I think it was even like somewhere between when the old Pony wasn't around anymore, and we were still in flux.
Looking for a new home.
It's entirely possible the first place I ever had it at was the Pony, but
yes, it's entirely possible.
But yeah, they have thrived, and they're still doing great. And it was fun going to both of those things. And,
did you meet any of the brewers while you were there?
You know, I don't. I feel that some of the I should have wonderful stories about all of this, but this. Yeah, you're right. We're drinking. We're moving on. You're empty with your first one, but I don't even remember which beers I had there, but I got a wonderful sticker with an octopus on it, and it was really cool.
Yes, I love their octopus.
Honestly, you came out ahead with an octopus sticker. That is a win.
I've somehow all this time I hadn't noticed that I guess they have a bunch of different logos, and I had not noticed that one of them had like octopus arms sticking out from the outside.
I love that.
Yeah, had you not noticed that, or you had?
I mean, their stickers. I mean, I know that a lot of their stuff has
with the octopus arms.
Yeah, I've certainly seen plenty of their cans with it, but I don't have enough of their stickers.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So,
I believe the stout they had there that night was What We Don't See, which remains one of my favorites. And I think I looked that up on Untappd.
Way back with them too. That's an early one for them.
Way back, yeah. I think I had that. I looked it up, and I had my first one possibly at the Pony, maybe as far back as 2016 or something.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But it's a great one from them.
I
also a few days ago there's a new. I feel like the Union Square area used to have more interesting craft stuff, and some of it is like sort of gone away. Torch and Crown, I don't know if they're opening up their seasonal one again in a couple months.
Sure, yeah.
But a new place has opened up there called the New York Beer Dispensary.
Ooh.
And I was a lot of what I've been doing is sort of things to reasons not to, or finding the meaning of life. I've been seen a lot of movies. I think I've seen close to 30 movies so far this year.
Oh, wow.
And I was seeing a movie, The Quad Cinema, and I'd been hearing about this place, and they're so new, I couldn't even find it looking up. I mean, granted, it's down by maybe as far up as like 7th Avenue, so it's technically not Union Square area, but it's close enough where you Google
it's on the edge.
Union Square beer stores, it should come up, and it doesn't yet. And I couldn't think of the name of it, and fortunately, our friend Brew York, I thought I'd remember reading an article about it by him, so I went on his thing, and I found it like, okay, that's it, New York Beer Dispensary. And I had a couple of really nice beers, which means I have to look up on Untappd right now. And those of you who are watching this on video now see that's what I'm doing. I'm pulling up my phone.
Looks like it's on 14th Street, yeah.
It is, yeah. It's like on 14th and 7th, I think, if quite that far up. All right. So let me just look at my. I will.
This is why we love checking things on our phone. Well, while you're doing that, Does the huckster need to refill?
I think that I would love to actually. Where were we at on time? Yeah, we're about at that time.
Yeah, I've got one coming up soon as well. But yeah, let's see what you got.
I gotta say, let me go back to this though.
Yeah,
this is one of the best triples I've ever had. I gotta go
right.
back and buy another one of these.
That's an endorsement right there.
Really good. Jeez. I mean, I really thought, well, it might be too sweet, might be whatever. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
This beer I'm drinking is called Decay.
Ooh.
And you can see
West
the
Coast
symbol
IPA.
there.
Yeah, it's got a little E with a thing through it.
That
so
is
that's
there does not exist. West
Yes.
Coast brewed with
Nelson and Columbus.
And what again, if you know, we've had There Does Not Exist on the show before. I mean, the can art is out of
It's
this world.
epic. I mean,
that's
that is
fantastic.
wild.
It's really neat.
It is true. I mean, we've got this skull that's made out of that's almost looks like it's like a fungus, like a I don't know, like a webbing on it.
Yeah, there's
spider
even
webs or
more on
something.
the side. Like
Oh my gosh.
Business. So I mean, they do the death
Right, yes.
zombie
Murder.
thing a lot.
Yeah.
There Does Not Exist. It's thematic with them, but they make a lot of hazies. But you know me, I love the West Coast. So this was called Decay, 7.2%.
Oh, okay.
I got a fresh.
Wow.
I got a fresh.
And
glass.
that was a pop right there.
A pop and a crack.
Pop and a crack.
I got
Oh my
another
gosh.
tulip glass because we love the tulip glasses.
We do.
And New York Beer Dispensary. That's another thing we can talk about in a minute. But
That's pretty.
yeah, it's got a real nice West Coast vibe to it. Looks like it has I
Ooh,
was going to say
good
slight
head.
haziness, but then no, it clears
No,
up.
it just cleared up right fast.
It's
That's
got
really
a
nice.
really good color.
That
Really
is golden.
nice. Ooh, I'm excited about this.
Can you hold up that can up next to it again?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we want to see the skull.
Yeah, we
I
got
want
to
to see them next to each
that
other.
art in
So
there
cool.
is
Oh yeah, that's elaborate.
that's a beautiful piece of art. And I'll
Yep.
do it with the flip side so you can get the info. Is Decay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I have to do this with all my There Does Not Exist beers. I just posted one recently. There was an oatmeal stout, which was actually also very good. Becoming one of my favorite breweries. You know, I live in the Central Valley.
Yes.
This is from
we
the
know that about
Central
you.
Coast,
Oh.
right?
There you go. So a
So
little
it's
further west.
similarly geographically, but yeah, it's on the coast. San Luis Obispo, also pronounced San Luis Obispo. Which I used to
Okay.
think it was San Luis Obispo, but it's not.
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and try this now. Oh my gosh. That's
Yeah.
good. Throws me back, you know,
Nice.
back to those olden days of just doing those nice, dank, piney IPAs. Back in the pony days.
Oh,
West
those good
Coasting
days.
it out. That's good.
Excellent.
That's really
Getting
good.
the
I'm gonna
Westies
need more
going
time
on.
to like take it in. Wow, jeez.
All right. Well, while you're
What a day.
taking it
What a
in,
day we're having.
I do want to give credit to New York Beer Dispensary for giving me two tremendous beers the other day. One of them was from Foam Brewers out of
Love Foam.
Vermont,
Yeah.
and it was an imperial double imperial coffee stout called the Science of Sleep. And that was really fantastic.
Oh, I heard
And then
it
the
on
other
YouTube.
one took me back to Beer Wonder. You and I a couple years back, when we were first like venturing out in the pandemic world, and I was biking all over the place.
Yep.
We went to the Blind Tiger for the first time, and I remember that I think this was a time where there was like some kind of birthday party going on in part of the room.
Yep.
So it was not as sedate as we're usually expect on a weekday afternoon.
Correct.
But I have this recollection of them having like 3 or 4 different Firestone Walker anniversary ales, and I had all of them.
Yeah, it sounds like you.
And well, just because it's like once I started with one, like, well, I have to try that one and that one.
Yeah, of course.
And so they had one of the more recent ones at the New York Beer Dispensary. It's the 28th anniversary ale. It's funny, they always call it a strong ale, but it tastes more like sort of a imperial stout barley wine kind of a thing.
Oh wow.
Okay. And that was really tremendous. And speaking of imperial stout things that have a high ABV, I have a second pour as well. which just so happens to be a
Sponsored pour.
another
one.
Pour. It does, and it's one that we're getting nostalgic about all kinds of shit today, but this is not going to be this will be no exception. This actually takes us back to about, I'm going to say, episode 5.
Oh gosh!
Can you guys guess what that episode was?
Was it the pumpkin episode?
I believe it was Black is Beautiful.
You're absolutely correct.
That's it.
And that episode wasn't the only time we had Black is Beautiful on,
right.
But that was the one episode where we was all Black is
We
Beautiful.
all did
episode.
it, yes.
Go back in the archive. Look at episode 5 if you want to hear about this. Black is Beautiful is a great beer that came out of some shitty things. Is when the Black Lives Matter movement really was swelling in 2020. A great brewery in Texas, Weathered Souls, which I think is no more.
They may have
which I
closed.
was sad to hear about. But they started to sort of support the movement behind it. They started this Black is Beautiful beer, of which any brewery could have their own version of that recipe, as long as they used this Black is Beautiful label, and that they agreed to give part of the portions to a relevant charity. It could be your local community center, it could be NAACP, it could be whatever. It was all, and the movement is not completed, even though Weathered Souls is. And this is from this is from Montclair Brewing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
New Jersey.
Okay, yeah,
it's a 9.2% imperial stout brewed with. No, wait, my eyes are. Wait, is that bao? Is that a kind of fruit? I'm gonna have to now turn on my flashlight on my phone because I am an old man.
Bao. That's like that's like calafate.
No, I'm sorry, baobab.
Oh, baobab.
B-A-B.
Baobab.
Like the tree, the baobab
yeah,
tree?
like baobab tree.
It is imperial stout brewed with baobab fruit. It's a 9.2%.
I've never heard of baobab being in a beer. That's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, how can I have a history? How can I have a history talking about baobab in one of our old misadventures where we talked about animals from Madagascar?
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, here we go. Let's take a look.
Yeah, they're also on the mainland, but yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
look at that.
Black is beautiful.
That is gorgeous. Oh my gosh. And look at that. The head on that beer. It is a nice foamy tight head. That looks great. And truly like an amazing, just an utterly exceptional project that makes really good beers.
Really is, yeah.
I'm trying to find my Black is Beautiful on my photos here.
Oh, it's in there somewhere.
No. Well, guys, we're going to keep this party going because, believe it or not, I also have another beer, and that beer happens to be a...
Sponsored pour.
I knew it. I knew you were going to do another one.
I know.
Well, Collective is really big to us this week. Yeah.
I saw that 3.8%. I'm like, he's doing a second beer.
Oh yeah, not yeah. But here's the thing. This is from that little brewery. I think it was like the Kings County Beer.
KCBC. Let's just call it KCBC.
Exactly. Yeah, them. It's KCBC, Kings County Brewers Collective. It is their Dynamite Evolution Hazy IPA, continuing with their awesome superhero comics. Great can art. Like they always do, and super fun. This one in kind of conjunction with the fact that we have cause-based beers like the Black is Beautiful beer, which is supporting Black Lives Matter movements and that important work. This is from the Pink Boots Society, so supporting women in brewing. So love that. This one, of course, is a hazy IPA, which has the Pink Boots hop blend as a part of it, plus Citra. So I don't quite know what that one is. It also has barley, oats, and wheat, 6.9% and I'm excited to try it out.
It's nice the provider is giving us so much Pink Boot stuff.
I know.
That is one that jogged my memory a little bit when I was there at the event. This was a featured beer. And there was someone from the Pink Boot Society there. And shortly thereafter, Pink Boot Society started following us on Instagram. So,
hello, huge fan of your work and your beer.
I'm getting a pink color.
It is almost a little bit pink. Yeah, I wonder if that comes from their proprietary.
And again, can art is a theme today. KCBC is always on point with can art.
Yeah, there is so much happening in this can. It's the kind of thing, it just, with all of their can art, like as you're sipping the beer, you can just kind of read the story of the art on the can. You know what I mean? It's like you're reading a comic book page. So
Yeah, or like an album cover. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
What is that? It looks like I'm getting a grapefruit vibe there.
It's got lots of tropical. It does definitely have that grapefruit.
It's IPA, right?
It's an IPA hazy, so definitely has all that like grapefruit juicy situation. The citra hop is pulling the citrusiness to it.
Yeah.
There is not a lick of bitterness in this thing. It's gonna go down way too easy.
Nice. Oh well, look at us with our second pour.
And did we get a report on the Black is Beautiful?
So tell me more about Baobab, because there's definitely a fruity thing to this, but I can't quite put my finger on it. It's definitely, though, is this fruit. But have you ever had Baobab? You just talked about it.
We know about the trees because the trees are very unique looking trees.
I see.
Yeah, they look like they were planted upside down. So
right.
the leaf, it's a big trunk with like almost like a root thing with tiny little leaves on the top, which keeps water in.
I had no idea there was a fruit.
Yeah.
Did you know there was a fruit?
No, never heard of. Never didn't have any. I had no clue. No clue.
I found a Black is Beautiful beer.
I've tapped into a Reddit forum that they suggest it tastes like unripe blackberries. I don't know. I definitely get. There's a bit of a berry vibe to it. I get that.
Okay.
And apparently, there's also a Baobab mead that they make.
Oh yeah.
All right. Oh, here we go. I love reading descriptions that tell you nothing.
Yes,
of course,
they're the best.
It says, okay, tangy and sweet, sure. The dry pulp of the baobab fruit boasts a tangy, sweet flavor that's absolutely irresistible. Its versatile taste makes a fantastic addition to smoothies, desserts, and savory dishes. So nothing at all.
That was not helpful.
What flavor is baobab? Let's try that one. Subtly sweet with a lemony zing.
Huh. I could get an.
There's definitely a tartness to it. I get that.
Yeah.
It's not quite a citrusy thing, but yeah, it's sort of like a bit of a sour berry. Okay, that actually was a little bit helpful. And there is some notion. Someone is asking if they are going to be the new super fruit flavor, but I'm not going to bother clicking on that. But anyway, so it's a wonderful beer. And they've got lots of them at Beer and Cheese Collective. So go get some of it and support them.
Yeah.
Right on. My beer is brewed with Citra as well. And Nelson and Columbus hops. Kind of traditional. Well, Nelson is Australian, I believe. But Citra and Columbus are more old school West Coast style hops. So it gives a little bit of fruitiness, that tropical fruit flavor, along with the old school pininess.
Yep.
Wonderful beer. Boy, we're just hitting it out of the park. Like everyone's a home run today.
Everyone's a home run with beautiful can art. It's full across. Everything's a winner. So
you can't lose today.
No, it's all good.
You know what's fun today is that I'm actually going to host an open mic later.
Oh, so you're going to be ready to go.
Regrets commence.
Yeah.
Let the regrets commence. Right? It is the final show of Let the Regrets Commence. It just happened for one more. Not that it's a no. It's just that we want to have something a little bit different than a comedy open mic. We want to do more of a variety show. And I think we will do that on our own. Maybe once a month on Fridays and bring in.
You don't have to let the title go. It's a good title.
It's not a bad title. I might let it go, but
okay.
Let the title go. That'd be the name of the next show. But it's fine. It's fine.
Untitled Regret Project.
So I'm just kind of like I told Cider Girl, she's going with me tonight.
Sure.
I said, "Are you going to drive
Thursday?"
Because I'm going to be frickin' toasted. I'm having a Belgian triple and a 7.2% IPA, and also I'm doing a beer and cheese in the afternoon. So the problem is that like
3.8% with the beer and cheese.
I did have. Exactly. I also had a pale ale.
All right.
I didn't finish the 3.8% stout. It was very nice, but I did not finish it. But the problem is like, what are we going to be done? 5 ish. Well, I don't know. You guys are in a different time zone. And then do I need another beer in between? I think I may have to have another one in between.
Yeah. It sounds like an evening.
It's going to be an evening. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going for it tonight. I'm going all, like as we used to say, I'm going all the way through the forest.
Through the forest, yes.
Hitting every tree along the way, as it should be.
I'm hitting every tree.
What's crazy is that Beer Wonder, the beer that you had, I've seen it so many different places.
Yep.
In fact, we hung out at our what do we call it? Do we call it our Justice League, whatever? I mean, what title do we have for Pony Bar? As far
I don't know.
as
It's not the home bar because that's of course the Beer and Cheese Collective, but I feel like it might be like the Hive, the Nerve Center, or something like that.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like it's where it all started. It's the Anyway, so we were there last week, and it was so funny because I was giving you that beer, and Dan also has that on his list of Dan's cans.
Oh, of course. Yes, he did. I remember that. Yeah.
Which was kind of funny. I was like, I got one of those, and no, we didn't buy it here.
Yeah, it was auspicious.
I mean, Pony is it's our roots. It is our, oh my God, I don't want to trigger it, but I do feel like it might be the source of our origin story. I know. I think it hurts, but we had to do it. Did you guys plan that?
How
did you do that?
And so we're going back to our first 5 episodes, and that was because we told that story was episode 1 or episode 4? I can't remember. Because
about the origin of the Beervengers.
Because that was the first 4 episodes. It was like the first 4 were individual stories and group origin story. And I'm not going to play the clip again, but we said it. We did it already. So, hard to tell. Here's something. I don't know if we need to bring it up or not.
Without me.
Were we texting each other without you about?
Yeah, because Beer Wonder led right into that, and you were right there.
I'm just saying
when this is episode 103, Huck. Our minds are one.
We are the Hive.
If you didn't receive the Sun apps, but it was maybe it didn't quite extend to the other coast.
Well, look, he's in a different time zone. There's a lot of space between them. When I went to Fresno, I had to
an airport lounge. You don't know which bar to go to for the right beer.
Yeah,
like, again, something.
Should we be worried?
Yeah.
Well,
that was my voice, so I was involved.
That's very.
You were. Yeah. Anyway, the captain. You were saying something. I think that there seems to have been a ripple in the Beervenger verse.
Yeah,
one might say.
Oh yeah. Well, we've been talking a lot about various themes and various ongoing themes and I might be overusing the term reasons not to kill yourself, which we talked about a little bit last time. And meaning of life, I think, is another way to do it. I actually had another one, but I think might be a little too dark as well.
Darker than reasons not to kill yourself?
Well, not darker, but still maybe too... succumbing to death's inevitable embrace.
Ooh!
Yeah, so that might actually be darker. I'm not sure. Because the thing is,
it's coming for all of us.
It's less dark in the sense that it doesn't sound like you're inviting it. But anyway, we did get an email from one of our fellow Beervengers that we haven't heard from in a while. I've seen him since the last time we did this, but he hasn't been on the podcast since I'm going to say like late 2023. Hang on here. Okay, I wanted to read it to you here. Here we go. Greetings. This might be a bit clear right here. Greetings from the Great Lakes Beervenger. I only recently listened to 101, not up to 102 yet in the queue. I want to thank you for the new spirit and genuine lift. I struggle with the very same need for what the captain called reasons to not kill yourself and the struggle for what to call them. I settled on reasons why I want to avoid death.
Okay.
Because
not
actual
bad.
suicide is a lot of bother and risk.
Right.
But passively losing interest in continuing to do anything at all, including live, is all too easy. Whatever we call it, thanks for addressing the elephant in the room and a good start on good reasons. Signed, Bruce Beernerd, PhD, sometime incredulous bulk, or is following our tradition we had in episode 1, or as may
Yes.
now be said, Pat Santucci.
Oh.
And so, and I like that, reasons to avoid death.
Yeah.
I think I said it wrong a little there. Reasons why I want to avoid death.
Reasons why I want to avoid death.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good.
It's I've been reading a lot of Victor Hugo lately, and I was reading
one
thing,
does.
of course. Well, it's a sort
As
of
the captain
outgrowth
does
for me. Here's the thing: is like I recently started rereading Les Miserables, and I first time I read it was in like 1997. I'm not even sure I read the unabridged version back then.
Yeah.
But what I am finding very comforting reading in it, in the world we're living in right now, is despite what President Musk says, I think empathy is something we should all strive towards. In fact, I think it's probably the best thing we do as people. Is empathy. And well, there really was a recent. I think he was talking to Joe Rogan or something, where he was just like shitting all over empathy. Literally, I mean, using those words. He was like, "I think we have too much empathy," or something like that. I guess that's what he's going through when he's like firing half of the federal government.
Sure. Which was many of those were overturned in court today. Which
yes,
gives me
that
some
is
hope.
a reason not to another reason to avoid death.
Exactly. Yep.
But the thing about Les Miserables is it's all about a society where so many people are not accorded empathy, and it encourages us to give empathy. And so that's why I'm finding it a rather comforting book to read now. Even though some of the characters who aren't getting their proper empathy come to terrible ends, the whole message is very much there. But there was another essay I was reading from him recently. And of course, this is an English translation, so I don't know who to give credit for translating it this way, but talking about the versions of basically there's living and there's existing.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that living, those moments where we remind ourselves why we're glad we're still alive, that's living. Existing is the tedium of the day to day, and we need to do that obviously because things we do to exist basically revolve around breathing and feeding ourselves and having shelter and things like that. That's the very basic, and like so much of our day to day is taken up with that. And the older I get, the more I realize how much of my time is spent up with that. And so that's a big reason why there's so much time is taken up with existing that I'm looking at ways to, okay, that was living, and reminding ourselves to appreciate that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate shout out to the incredulous bulk, aka Dr. Bruce Beernerd,
AKA Pat.
AKA, and let's give credit where credit is due. Captain Porter Brownstout is a cool name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Probably the coolest, but boy, does Dr. Bruce Beernerd come awfully close to.
Yes.
He's without a doubt second, if not competing with the captain's name.
First and a half.
Well, honestly, the idea that I think he's the only one who has names for both his Beervenger and the secret identity on top of his other secret identity.
Exactly.
Well, it's so natural because if you look at the Avengers,
right,
the Hulk is one of the main Avengers, and he captured that and made it exactly a beer centric. And it was gorgeous.
And the Incredible Hulk TV series was kind of based on The Fugitive, which was kind of based on Les Miserables. So
there you go. Full circle. Which is a brewery here in Fresno.
There you go.
Les Miserables or the
Full Circle
Hulk?
Brewery.
Oh, Full Circle. First of all, yeah. Those are great. Could be good names for something.
Well, I'll tell you what. Love it. Love it. Thank you, Pat. And Pat. I'm calling him Pat now.
We can call him Pat.
Yeah, he
We
admitted
can.
his
And,
secret.
Same way we can call you Mike.
We also haven't had any guests in our second 100 episodes so far.
Yeah, we've tried a little bit, but my whole feeling is we record when we record. I guess I could have asked. Yeah, I mean, you gave a very extensive story about South America, and I did actually think about saying maybe Cider Girl should be on this one, but too late for that. She'll be on another one.
So thought we were going to have a Belgian babe to talk about the beer festival you all went
but
to.
she was busy the night we wanted to record, and then you would have been off in South America, and we would have had to postpone the recording. So, there will be more guests.
Hey, look, we are Beervengers. We make the rules, and we play by our own rules. So,
yeah.
Thank you, Beer Wonder.
You're welcome. That's why I'm here.
What would we do without the Beer Wonder, honestly? And I don't even know.
I think we did have one episode where we figured that out, and
we did do that.
One since.
Yeah. You can live without the huckster, but not the Beer.
No, that was a dark time too. We're happy to have you back.
No.
I mean,
I enjoyed the episodes y'all did without me.
Yeah. But
it's all a trajectory, a continuum. We come and go, but we're always part of it. Is that like Siddhartha and Hermann Hesse and the river and all that?
I was gonna. There was two roads I was gonna go down, but I want to go down this road.
Yeah.
Was there other things we were gonna bring up? Beer Wonder.
Not unless we want to talk about Judy Collins.
I do want to talk about that. We could do it off screen, but I was actually gonna, because you brought it up earlier about your heart monitor.
Oh yeah.
Is that something we could talk about on the air?
We can absolutely talk. We can talk about it on the air. I'm still working through the follow up for that. I have the results of it, but I haven't talked to my doctor about it yet. But I'm working on. And this is, I guess, this also filters into the whole reasons to avoid death, and so I am attempting to avoid death by addressing that issue. I have a few things I'm trying to do that. One of those is cutting back on alcohol. So if at some point or another we have an episode where I show up with a can of liquid death, that keep in mind they actually sell that at the Beer and Cheese Collective. So it's still fitting with all of that. But hopefully right now I'm trying to just cut down on doing it on the various times that I'm doing it. I have a few other things I'm working towards. I might be having a procedure done at some point, but we'll talk about that on the April episode because I will know more then. And yeah, it's too much detail to get into at this point, but we can talk about that when we talk about it.
Good.
Well, important. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that it's not any kind of bad news so far.
Yeah. I mean, it started because I have atrial fibrillation, and I'm working towards addressing that. Apparently, it's a fairly common thing. When I got diagnosed, I didn't know necessarily for sure, and it was a little scary, but I'm working on it.
Well, don't let our peer pressure you. Have some more beer.
Cheers.
Listen, I'm even older than you.
I only want to pull up the glass when I say cheers after you said that.
Lo siento. There you go.
There we go.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Yes, indeed. We love beer. But we love life.
More. We do.
So
we're trying to find more reasons to love life.
Yeah. Right.
Rather than just endure existence.
Yep. More than just the oatmeal days, as my parents used to say.
I mean, isn't that a way like that's actually? I mean, I literally just thought about that. The idea about living and existing. We love living. We endure existing. Because you can't have one without the other. I mean, that's the thing. You have to exist to live.
Well, I've always tried to, in my life, to, what do they call it? Like juke the system, or, like, I'm not going to do the suffering part.
Yeah. Oh, I got that. Yeah. But
I'm
sometimes
just going to have the good stuff, but it's not.
Yes.
It's not really possible. But
Here-
you
here's,
you can push the majority.
here's also the thing. I think the idea of like only doing the good stuff is like being happy all the time. It's
Yeah.
not possible.
That's true.
And here's the other thing that makes it even better is that if we were happy all the time, we wouldn't appreciate when we were. Happiness is not a state of mind; it's things that happen to us.
Yeah,
That's
you're
true.
right. You're right. And
Contentedness. I mean, we can strive for being contented most of the time with spikes of happiness within it. Maybe.
I think we've like covered a lot of ground and
Yeah.
covered a lot of time. So I don't want to like take too much more time of our wonderful listeners.
But before we
so
go, I
maybe
do
we
want
go
to
ahead.
just make sure that if folks need to get in touch with us, like Mr. Beer Nerd did, what is the best way to reach out to the Beervenger sphere?
Well, that was he reached out to us at thebeervengers@gmail.com. And if you get that, you can be assured that I will see it. And if you reach out to the at the Beervengers, and that's on Instagram and Facebook, and I mean, to be honest, if you put it on Twitter, we're not going to look at it because we don't really support President Musk. But there might be. I honestly, we still haven't put ourselves on Blue Sky. We need to do that. And I mean, YouTube comment pages. We'll look at those as well. Now that we're trying to
we've got
put
video.
more video on there. I mean, we've been on YouTube forever, but now there's video there if you really want to see our faces and all that. Is there? Am I leaving anything out, Beer Wonder?
No, I think you've hit all the important ones, and I see
Okay.
Huck clutching the uke with a desire to live that I have not seen from many folks in a moment.
It's not
Here we
me.
have.
Like I would open another beer and keep going. But
Yeah.
you know, I keep the audience in mind at all times.
Well, you know, if you did that, I think the regrets might commence a little earlier than you want them to. And I know you have a full evening ahead of you.
Right on. And the sun is
All right, thanks for
shining here in
listening,
Fresno. The hailstorm has been over for a long time. I've been using natural light this whole time.
Love it.
And
You're
it looks
glowing.
great. All right, thanks for listening, everyone. Play us out, Huck.
Let's do that again.
Yes, let's do it
One
again.
more time.
Play us out, Huck.
Oh, with the beer Vengers, beer Vengers, beer Vengers. We're the beer Vengers.
Oh yeah. Okay. Can we stop now?
Yeah, whenever you want.